had always been fascinated by old, abandoned buildings, so when I heard about the dilapidated mansion on the outskirts of town, I knew that I had to explore it. I had heard rumors of strange noises and ghostly sightings, but I didn't really believe any of it. As I entered the front doors, the musty smell of decay and neglect filled my nostrils. The wallpaper was peeling, and the floorboards creaked beneath my feet. I made my way through the dark, dusty house, taking note of the ornate architecture and the cobweb-covered chandeliers. As I reached one of the hallways, I heard a familiar sound that sent chills down my spine. Heavy footsteps, chains rattling, and a low, guttural growl and whisper.
We have to contain it.
It sounded like something out of a nightmare. My heart began to race. It was him. Chris Walker, the escaped insane asylum patient who had been stalking me for days. I had heard of him before. He was an ex-military police officer and security guard who had been admitted to the local insane asylum to be experimented on, and was turned into a monstrous creature with superhuman strength and durability. Chris is insanely obsessed with security protocol and will go on mass murderous treks just to do what he sees as the greater good. His footsteps were getting closer.
I'm coming. You won't have to kill yourself.
He growled.
I'll make the pain stop.
He whispered as he was about to round the corner at the end of the hallway. He was coming for me, and I had to find a way out fast. I turned around and frantically searched for a way to escape, but all of the windows were boarded up, and the front door that I had came in had already been blocked off by Chris, with a large, heavy bookshelf filled with the severed heads of his previous victims. I was trapped. I could hear him getting closer and closer, his heavy breathing echoing through the halls. I knew I had to hide, so I darted into a room and quickly hid under the bed, trying to make myself as small and quiet as possible, but I knew that my hiding spot wouldn't protect me for long. I peeked out from behind the bed skirt, and my heart dropped as I saw Chris walking through the doorway. He stopped right in front of me.
You were here, weren't you, little pig? I'll find all yours.
He growled as he began scanning the room. I had my hand covering my mouth and nose, holding my breath, and trying to be as still and quiet as possible. I was afraid that at any moment, he'd reach down and rip me out from under the bed. Instead, he walked over to the other side of the room and yanked open the closet.
Who's there? Come out!
He growled as he began searching behind the clothes and boxes. I had to get out of there before he decided to look under the bed, and this was my only chance. In a desperate bid for survival, I began to quietly crawl from under the bed, hoping that he wouldn't notice.
What is that? I hear a little rat. Come out.
I heard him whisper. I stood to my feet and tried to slowly back out of the room, but to my horror, he noticed and turned around to face me.
Little pig.
He shouted as he began chasing me. I ran as fast as I could through the house, stumbling over broken pieces of furniture and knocked over shelves. Chris was right behind me, and I felt like I never escape him. The mansion seemed endless, and like I was trapped with no way out. My heart was pounding in my chest, and I could feel the sweat pouring down my face. I knew that if I didn't find a way out soon, I would be doomed to suffer the same fate as those who had come before me. I was exhausted, and I knew that I couldn't keep this up for much longer. I stumbled upon a secret passage that I had never seen before. I knew that it was my only chance for escape, so I quickly opened it and ran through, closing it behind me just in time. I could hear Chris trying to open the door.
Come out!
He shouted, but it wouldn't budge. I had finally escaped him. Or so I thought. My relief was short-lived as he broke through the door and grabbed me by the throat, lifting me up with one hand.
Little pig, no more escape.
I dug into my coat and pulled out my pocket knife, plunging it into his neck. He dropped me, and I continued to run through the passage. I knew that he would never give up until he killed me. I felt like I was running forever, and I thought that I would never escape him. However, I eventually found a way out of the passage, and I ran as fast as I could, never looking back. I had never felt so alive as I did when I stepped out into the fresh air, my heart still pounding with fear. I was relieved, but I also couldn't shake the feeling that he would always be there, stalking me and hunting me down until I was caught. I know that I will never truly be safe from Chris Walker, but I'm still alive. For now, and that's all that matters.